Peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Codes. My name is Joel, here to give you today's money code fix. In today's episode, I want to go over Chime and specifically the credit builder that Chime offers. And the reason why I'm doing this video now is on the previous episode of Money Codes, I talked about the most common top 5 mistakes that people do when they're on their credit building journey. And one of the points that stood out the most was doing your disputes, waiting for this imaginary time when you can start thinking about adding positive trade lines to your credit report. And as I say in most of my videos, I'm a huge fan of Discover. I'm a huge fan of Navy Federal secured credit card just because you're able to upgrade to better products. Discover specifically has the cash back, the ability to upgrade after about 6 to 8 months. So I always recommend those secured cards as a entry point in order to start building your credit profile. However, there are some people that have mentioned before that they're unable to get into Navy Federal, or they were declined, because it is possible to get declined when trying to apply for the Discover secured card. So because of that reason, I want to talk about Chime and specifically their credit builder product that they offer. And I want to go over the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly that I see with the company. And hopefully by the end of the video, you can figure out for yourself if this fits into your strategy on how to build up your credit. So very quickly, I'm on the Chime page. And if you look at the very bottom, it says Chime is a FinTech company, not a bank. Banking services provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank, member FDIC. So that's very important, but I'm not going to touch on that right now. But just understand, Chime is not your traditional bank like you think of Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America. They're not that type of bank. They are considered a fintech company, or sometimes these type of companies are called neobanks. Why? Because everything that they do is online or through the app. So there's no physical branch that you can go into if you have a problem, if you have a question. Everything is done through the internet, basically. So very quickly, how do you get the credit builder offering that they provide you at Chime? Well, the first thing to do is you actually need to open up an account with them. It's free. It's very easy to do. It takes probably 2-3 minutes to sign up. You can download the app to your phone on iOS and Android. Very simple to do. And you can see some of the things that they're offering. So say goodbye to hidden fees when you bank through Chime. No monthly fees, no minimum balance fees, no overdraft fees, 60,000 free ATMs at stores like Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS Pharmacy, because again, you cannot go to a physical branch. However, there are tons of ATMs that you can go to if you need to do a withdrawal without any fees. All right, so let's go down very quickly. You can see here that they're very big on no fee. And this is one of the most beneficial aspects of a lot of these fintech companies, because they don't have a brick and mortar financial bank that you can go to. A lot of those costs and a lot of the overhead that they would have to pay the managers, the bank tellers, all these fees that go along with a brick and mortar bank, they can pass along to you and I as the consumer. So this is the reason why I'm a fan of these quote unquote neobanks or these financial institutions. So when you sign up for free and you download that app, they send you out the Chime Visa card, which is essentially like your debit card, for free in the mail, and you usually get that in about a week or so. All right, so now let's go down to Chime versus traditional banks. You can see the side-by-side comparison with some of the bigger banks. Chime versus Chase, Chime versus Bank of America. Again, $0 in overdraft fee, $0 in minimum balance requirements, $0 in the monthly account service fee. So this chart right here paints a perfect picture of what I mean about these fintech companies, these neobanks being able to pass along to you the savings versus your traditional big banks. Now, this is just opening up the Chime account. This is not necessarily the credit builder. The next page I want to go over is the credit builder account. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is our no annual fee, no interest secured card that helps you build your credit. So let's scroll down and let's see how this works. And at the very bottom, I'm going to do a comparison on the good things about this card and some of the things that you might want to be mindful of if you do decide to apply to get the secured card. So the first thing you would have to do once you create your Chime account, the default is your spending account. That's what they provide you. And that's, again, the equivalent to like a checking account if you were to compare it to a traditional bank. So you have something called a spending account. Now, the second thing that you would have to do is move the money from your spending account over to your credit builder account. Now, the credit builder account is not available to you as a default. Chime requires you to go to your employer and to sign up for direct deposit and use Chime as the account that you use. So if you do not use your Chime account as the account for your direct deposit with your employer, you're not going to have the option to sign up for the credit builder secured card. And I'm going to go over why in a second. But if you do go ahead and do that, you can set it up so that every time you get paid, you can allocate a certain percentage or a certain amount to your credit builder account, or you can do it manually. Now, whatever amount that you transferred over to your credit builder account, that becomes your credit limit for your secured credit card. So if you transferred over $200 to your credit builder account, you now have a $200 secured card. Now, this is a little bit different than how you traditionally think of a security deposit with a financial institution. So for example, with most secured credit cards, you would have to put up a security deposit, meaning you will take $200 or $500, you'll give it to the bank, and then they will have a security deposit where they lock that amount, and now you have $500 to use and to swipe. If you default, they can go ahead and they can just take that security deposit as collateral. With Chime, it doesn't really work that way. It's a little bit different. Their secured card account is more like a prepaid credit card. So you can see here, the money that you move in your secured account is how much you can spend. You can even use the money to pay for monthly spendings automatically. So because your credit limit is not a fixed amount like traditional secured cards are, you're going to want to make sure that you always have money being transferred over to this credit builder account if you are actively spending. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is point number 2, and I think this is very important when it comes to this credit builder account. We don't report credit utilization, which means you can use Credit Builder without contributing to a high utilization record on your credit history. With Credit Builder, you can control how much you spend on Credit Builder by managing your secured account balance. So with this type of secured card, they don't really give you an option to be able to have a revolving balance, because at the end of every single month, the money that you have in that account is used to pay off the transactions. So the easiest way to think about this card is that this is a prepaid charge card or a prepaid credit card. Every single month your balance is paid off in full, so there will never be a revolving balance. Now this can be a good or a bad thing. Because of this, you're not going to have to worry about paying interest because there is no balance that you're carrying month after month. The drawback to this is that they're not reporting your utilization. And remember, in all of the videos, the number one most important thing to your credit report and to your credit score is your payment history. The second most important is your utilization rate. And if they're not reporting your utilization, those points aren't really going to be factored into your credit score. This account is still beneficial because you're going to be able to report positive payment history, but you're not going to get that extra boost of utilization being reported. All right, let's keep scrolling down and let's see a side-by-side comparison with the Chime Credit Builder and your traditional cards. So the average annual fee with Chime, $0. The average APR, no interest, because again, you are not carrying a balance from month to month to month. The way to look at this is that this is a prepaid charge card that gets reported to the credit bureaus. So because of that, you do not have to pay interest. This is similar to having a regular card that you just pay off every single month, just pay it off completely. There are no late fees. There is no credit check to apply, which is good. The security deposit, there is no minimum requirement. But remember, you need to have that $200 direct deposit activated with Chime in order to be able to create this account. So just keep that in mind, but there is no minimum security deposit. Can you use that security deposit for payment? Yes, you can. Credit reporting, does it report to all 3 of the bureaus? Yes, they do. There have been some people that have reported that they've had issues with TransUnion being able to effectively report their Chime Credit Builder account. I don't think this is a Chime issue. I think this is an issue with the credit bureaus in general. Again, this isn't a strike against Chime and their practices, but more so with the credit bureaus and how they're consistently trying to tighten up what gets reported and what doesn't. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. So while doing the research, I wanted to figure out why they're trying to require us to sign up for that $200 direct deposit. Why can't we just apply directly? Well, if you look at this CNBC article, this dates back to 2019. Chime and many of its digital banking peers partner with FDIC insured banks instead of getting a banking license themselves. It's a popular setup for fintech companies. The banks handle the federally regulated side while the startups focus on the user experience. Chime works with Bancorp Bank and earns revenue from debit card transaction fees paid by the merchants. So their business model is they want you to sign up for their account. They want you to sign up for the direct deposit at your employer. That way you can turn Chime into your primary banking institution. So because of that, if you make Chime your primary bank, you're going to be more likely to use your Chime account for all of your purchases. And again, this is how Chime gets paid. Every time you swipe, they get a cut from their payment processor. So this is their business model. All right, so what I tried to do now is do a somewhat of a side-by-side comparison between Chime's credit builder and Self's secured card. They're not exactly the same. They don't do the exact same thing, but I think they're similar enough to kind of give you an idea of what might work better for you. So number one, if you've seen the video I had for Self, you know that you have to start off with their installment loan. And after about, I think, 3 or 4 payments, you can take those funds and transfer that over to the secured credit card. And that will be how you would open up the secured card with Self. With Self and their secured card, it is a $25 annual fee. And I'm not going to go over every single one of the breakdowns here for the fees, but you can see that there is a $9 one-time admin fee. As I said before, the $25 annual fee to keep that card open. If you carry over a balance with Self, you will have to pay interest. That's something that Chime kind of eliminates by paying off your balance every single month. So that's not something that you have to deal with Chime. You don't have to pay that interest rate because you're not carrying over that balance. You don't have to pay that annual fee. So you are saving when it comes to Chime, but because you're not able to carry over that balance with Chime, it's more so like a prepaid charge card versus Self's, which is more of a traditional secured card. Again, it's not exactly the same, but you do have an idea of what you're getting into. So would I recommend Chime? I think Chime is very solid. They're very good when it comes to being a neo bank, right? Being able to open up the account. There's no credit check. There's no minimum requirements for their spending account. If you don't mind registering your direct deposit over with Chime, I think this is a solid choice. But still, I still recommend if you're able to get qualified for something like a Discover It, if you're able to get into Navy Federal and get their secured accounts, I do believe those are better options for those that are looking to get a secured card option. However, if you're not able to, definitely check out Chime because I do think they are worth looking into. And because of the fees that you would be saving in comparison to other credit builder type of plans like a Self, I definitely think Chime is worth looking at for a banking institution as well as a credit builder account if you're not able to go directly to a primary financial institution, again, like Discover, like Navy Federal, like Bank of America. If you're not able to go with the big players, definitely check out Chime. I think they are worth looking into. All right, that's all I have for you for today for this video. If you liked it, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Make sure to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you do have the Chime credit builder account already, if it's still actively reporting to all 3 of the major credit bureaus. I'd love to get more feedback. We can go ahead and share that with the community, and I'm going to check you out in the next video. Peace.